welcome everybody. Thank you for joining the coordinator network call. And Justine just started the recording. The recording will be available to you later on. I'll talk about that in a second. All right, so here's our agenda for the morning. We are going to go through, we're already doing some introductions of you all. We'll do some introductions of us. I am probably a new face to almost everybody on the call. But why don't you throw in the chat if this is your brand new first ever coordinators call. This is my first ever coordinators call. So I would love to know who else here is a newbie, and we will journey through this together. I'm so excited to have you here. So we're going to do some introductions. We're going to talk a little bit about the setup, the logistics of the meeting. And then we are going to talk about engagement, which is a super important aspect of the work that we do. Then we're going to break into some breakout rooms. In my previous role prior to coming here, I was in a similar setup where we had schools from across the state who had job roles that, my job role was similar to other people across the state, but I didn't have anybody in my school that had the same job role as me, which probably resonates with some of you. And it's easy to kind of feel like you're on an island when there's no colleague that is doing the exact same job as you. And this call is an opportunity for you to, listen and learn and reflect and share with the colleagues that you have across the state. And I have to tell you, it was one of the favorite parts of my previous job because I learned so much from what other people were doing across the state. I got so many wonderful ideas that kind of leveled up the work that I was doing and gave me ideas about how to address challenges. So, we're going to have a breakout room where you guys can collaborate with one another and engage and talk about the challenges and the successes that you're having. And then we'll be closing out our meeting. You can move on to the next slide, please, Justine. Okay, so just kind of as a reminder, after the call today, you will be receiving an email, a MailChimp email, and we call it a circle back, which basically, sometimes when we're on a call, it's hard to catch all of the amazing details. And so you don't have to scribble notes about all of the different slides that you're going to see in the information because you are going to receive an email that has the recording and the slides with all of the information on it. So rather than taking detailed notes, you can be free to fully engage your brain in what's going on and engage with one another on the call. So you'll be receiving that after the call. All right, so I am Jody Bias, and I am the newest program manager for technical assistance. I am specifically working with cohort 2. So if you know that you're part of a cohort 2 school, welcome, welcome. I'm probably going to be engaging a lot more with you in the future. Can't wait to meet you all face to face. Like I said, my background, I came from school systems. The last 15 years I've spent in school systems. I also am a licensed mental health counselor. And my work for the last 15 years has been specifically to help schools to work with those students who have emotional or behavioral challenges. So my office was very, very busy, just like I'm sure many of you experience on the schools, running, 10,000 steps a day. That's that's what it's like in schools. But so that is me. I have only been here for, I think, maybe 3 weeks now. So I believe Alexius is not with us this morning. He is on a well-deserved vacation, so he won't be joining us today. But I am going to throw it over to Justine to introduce herself.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome. It is so good to put faces with names. My name is Justine Jordan. I am the program coordinator here with technical assistance at the center. I come from a background of education. I used to be an intensive reading teacher in Orange County Public Schools for about 5 years. I taught at the middle school level with seventh grade, and then at the high school where mostly people don't like going, but I loved it. Especially because all the students were towering over me. So, and they were my big babies. I've worked with kids for over 20 years, and those were my biggest babies, but I absolutely love them. So if you're in high school, I think you understand along with middle schools. I am also fairly new here. I've joined the TA team in the summer. June was my first roundabout here with TA. I absolutely love being here, joining the team. And if you're new here, just know that you are going to be loved and welcomed and really sending a lot of like warm vibes for you. I am not overseeing any cohort, but I will be sharing a lot of details. I'm sure you've heard from me when it comes to your inbox or have seen a lot of calendar invites in your inbox. That is usually my goal and role here. I support all of our program managers and technical assistants to ensure that they're not going crazy and that I can alleviate any stress for them. So if you ever need anything, or maybe you can't get a hold of them, you can always reach me as well. And I will make sure that I, get your answers to your questions, and or push you, be like, hey, Naisha, Jody, they need you. Other than that, I welcome you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being engaged. And I will pass it to the lovely Naisha.
Thank you, Justine. Good morning, everybody. It's so great to see your faces. I know that, so shout out first to our first timers, right? Welcome. We're so excited that you are here. You're probably like, I'm supposed to sit on this call and get information. Why are they so excited? Because we are. I can't say that you all are my favorite group because I can't say that. But if I had to choose, we know what I would choose. I'll leave it out there at that. I am not new to this team, but really excited to welcome new faces and new folks and get really excited. I have hyped you guys up to our new folks on this call from my team, and to our special guest, Andrew Igo. The coordinators are great. They're going to engage with you. They're going to talk to you. It's going to be awesome. It's basically like the meeting is going to run itself because that's how much they are into this. So one, don't make me a liar, but two, I know that you all do that. So there's no need for me to preface that. So I'm really excited to be here with you all. I am shifting. For those of you in the past who've known me, I was supporting cohort 2. Those are our schools and year implementation, year 4 and 5. I'm shifting to supporting our schools 3 and 4. So that doesn't mean I'm going anywhere. It just means that cohorts 3 and 4, those are implementation years 1 through 3. I'm your contact person here at the center. For those of you who I know and I visited, I am always just an email away and still here to support you the best way I can. So I'm excited that you are here with us. Hopefully this time will be good for you all. And I'm going to pass it over to our special guest. Most of you are wondering, like, where's Sally? Sally usually hops on this call with you all, and she's here. She's out for vacation. We have asked someone to kind of step in for us and help facilitate this call with us. So he's going to introduce himself and kind of tell you a little bit about his role here at the center. He is not a part of technical assistance on the community partnership school side. So he'll tell you just a little bit about what he is doing over on the side of the Unlimited Potential Initiative. Andrew, go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, hi everyone. So great to be with you. I am probably another new face. So I have been here just a little bit longer than Jody, but not as long as Justine. So yeah, so I'm Andrew. I've excited to be part of this new team and a part of the UPI project that we have going on here at the center, which is a relatively new grant for us. So I'm a program manager on that side doing technical assistance specifically for the Unlimited Potential Initiative. Love community schools, have worked a few years in a middle school teaching US history, so had a good experience there, but then more recently have been working a lot with nonprofits and providing technical assistance for nonprofit leaders and teams. And so that's what I bring to the team here at the center. Just to give you a quick brief kind of overview of the UPI project. That's kind of a new project for our center. It's using and really developing a different model of community schools called university assisted community schools. And so we're really working with universities across the state of Florida to try to develop their ability to plug in resources more directly and more robustly into the community school model. So that's kind of what we're working on our side. So great to be with you again. Looking forward to our call and to some of the conversation. So I'll pass things back.
Thank you so much, Andrew. And again, thank you for being willing to jump in and learn from all of our new coordinators and help the technical assistance team out. We really appreciate it. All right, so I talked a little bit ago, but I'm going to reinforce it again that I remember what it's like to be in schools from the minute that you walk in the building. There are people knocking on your doors. There are students that are, poking their head in. There are announcements going off. There are your walkies are going off. There are a lot of distractions. We ask that you take a moment to think through, okay, what do I need to do to just set all of this aside just for 30, 45 minutes? So that I can fully be engaged in thinking about what can I give to and learn from and take away from this meeting and from my colleagues across the state. So we ask that you follow the 4 Bs, that you are engaged and you're not multitasking and dealing with all of those distractions at this moment. Do what you can to be present. I love already that everybody has their camera on, that you're already fully engaged. Be open to giving feedback, receiving feedback, sharing your ideas. We really want you to get something out of today's meeting that's going to inspire you and be reflective. So even if you don't have anything that you have shared today, I guarantee if you listen, you will, get inspired with some new ideas. So reflect on how can I take from today's meeting and, apply it to the work that I'm doing. All right, just as a reminder, like I said, you're going to be getting the circle back on this, but as a reminder, here are some upcoming calendar events to keep on your radar. And Justine just threw into the chat box a link to this in case you wanted to click on it and save it. So we have, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the quarterly reports that all of the sites scrambled to get done on time with all of the disruptions that we had from the 2 hurricanes that decided to blow through. I mean, if hurricanes are going to blow through, how do they decide that they're going to do it at the end of a quarter when all of the reports are due? It's just rude, right? But but we showed them because everybody got it all done, and we really, really appreciate the work that went into that. So, pat on the back to all of you for working through that. And then the upcoming events are listed there, and we definitely want to point out on January 23rd, there's the next coordinator call. And the DCI, the Director Coordinator Institute, where I am going to be able to see you all in person. I'm so excited about that, is in June. So just take notes of those dates. And if you haven't been on this call before, one of the aspects I love about it is that at the end of the call, we from the center will be signing off, and we will keep the room open so that you guys can, exchange ideas, have conversations without us being present. Sometimes it's easier to talk amongst your colleagues, and we want to give you time to be able to do that. I do have to warn you that at the end of the meeting, when this happens, we are going to ask for a lovely volunteer to host this from the coordinators. And by hosting it, all you really have to do, you don't have to coordinate it. You don't even have to talk. You just have to keep the meeting open so that everybody doesn't get kicked out of the meeting. But we will be asking for that later, and we will give you the time and space to be able to interact even more once the meeting is officially over. All right, so we already mentioned this, but here's the flyer for the DCI Institute. Again, Why don't you throw in the chat if you have been to a director and coordinator institute before, and maybe an emoji or a word to describe how you felt about it. I haven't been to one, so I'm super excited, and you guys can give me a glimpse of, how it went for you in previous times that you've attended. So go ahead and throw that in the chat. If you've been before, what's the vibe for the DCI?
Yeah, I'll also throw out there, Jody, for those of you who don't know about TA or haven't experienced us in real life, we love a theme. We love a theme and we love a party. So I'm not saying that there's a costume, but if you look at the flyer, maybe there's a costume you have to wear. I'm just gonna throw that out there. It is the season for that around this time, so you might be able to get it on a discount. But just keep that in mind when you see the flyer and there is a tire requirement that comes out later on. Just know, geez, this is what she was talking about. I should have hopped on board and gotten an outfit around that time. So I'm just going to throw that out there.
So I'm either going to be looking for a cape or a battery costume. I don't know how I would look in a battery costume, but I can pull it off. I can figure it out. But all right, thank you for adding that, Naisha, because I haven't been and I'm super excited. So that kind of gives us a glimpse into what to expect. It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to see y'all there.
Also to add, I have added this flyer to the calendar invites that were sent to all of our coordinators. If you have not received a calendar invite, or someone else on your team did not receive it, feel free to let me know as well. You can message me here or email me as well at justine.jordan@ucf.edu. I'll put it in the chat as well. But it is there so that way you can look forward to and think about, what is that theme?
Yeah, and thank you for that reminder, Justine, because we have discovered recently that there were just a couple of people that we didn't have the correct contact information for them. So if you're looking around on this call and you see that some of your coordinator colleagues from your school or from across the state that if they're not on the call, reach out to them and make sure that they're getting the updates and the invites and all of the information from Justine. I think that we've got a pretty good handle on it, but if we're missing our friends, we want to make sure that they're included and welcomed in as well. All right.
Awesome. I will take it over from here. So I just want to give a special shout out. We have been getting out there. One of our goals this year is to visit all of our sites before the end of the fiscal year. I'm not sure if we'll make it. That's our goal right now. We're always this kind of people who are super ambitious in the beginning, and someone's like, all the schools? There's so many. They're so far apart, but we're trying really hard. So our first stop was in Lee County to visit our friends down there. And I saw some of our friends on this call. I know I see Paul right there. I saw Z down there. Yep, I love it. I see Claudia over there. So shout out to you all for being amazing hosts and allowing us to experience a great thing at their school. So Franklin Park Elementary School, if you all don't know, had a ribbon cutting during one of the hurricanes a few years ago. It kind of came through and demolished their school. And they really, they say they were living in Portable City for a while. They moved all the students over to Portables down the road. It was a huge transition for them. But with the help of the school district and a grant, they were able to get the funds to rebuild the school. So we're talking about a school that has been around in this community for about 60 years. And really an anchor in that community. And we got to go to their ribbon cutting and really go out there and see, one, how amazing the building looks, but also the community and how they felt about this new school getting put in their community. And you could really tell there was a lot of pride in that. And they were excited for the students to come back to school and learn in this new environment. So this is just a note to you all that we are coming around, making our way through the state. If you hear about us coming, it's not anything scary. We're not here to evaluate. We're here to visit, for you to show us all the great things that we're reading about in the reports that you're helping do. And of course, here to take pictures so we can say that it happened, but also to give you all a shout out as well. And just congratulate you all for all the work that you're doing that goes unseen. So shout out to our friends in Lee County. We had a great time going down there. I can't say we'll be back, but we have new people. So maybe they need to come down to Lee County to see the schools. So I'll just throw that out there. If you all want to send a note to my boss and say, hey, we would love for you all to come here, he would send us on our way going. So thank you all for hosting us, and thank you for all the amazing work that you're doing. And I said, we hit the ground running early this school year. We decided, I'm not sure, Justine, who decided this, but we were like, you know what we should do? We should go to the Panhandle and visit all the schools there and just drive all the way across the front of the state and visit the schools all the way to Tallahassee. So I think we hit like, what was it, like 7 or 8 schools, maybe 9 schools. We were, again, super ambitious. So shout out to our friends in North Florida in the Panhandle. I saw Stephanie on here from Pine Forest. I thought I saw somebody else, but that's okay. So thank you all for hosting us, for allowing, the Tanya, thank you for coming out there. You know, I love you. We love visiting you all. So thank you all for hosting us, for allowing us into your space and to see the work that you are doing, and for meeting you. We always get really excited and energized and inspired from going to schools. I always tell my folks, I know that the folks we work with, work in schools, but when we go to visit, it's just something different about hearing the little pitter patter that happens, hearing the bells, interrupting all the meetings that we have when we go, listening to kids like talk to us. I think we were at CA Weiss, and one of the girls comes up to us, she goes, oh, this outfit, it's cute. And I was like, listen, it's nothing like a kid to gas you up. And I didn't even know that I needed it. And I'm a grown woman. I can't be cute. But you know what? I felt cute when she said that. So just know that we always really enjoy visiting you all, and thank you so much for the work that you're doing. Awesome. So along those lines, I don't know if you all remember last semester we had some interns that were with us that did a programs matrix, and you all were diligently working with them to fill out all the surveys that went out about all the programming that's happening at your schools. So thank you for doing that. But we have a new set of interns who have a different set of interests. So we are going to do a quick poll that should pop up on your screen here in a minute for you all to do. And if you don't get it in the, if you don't get it on your screen, I think Justine can throw it in the chat. So a little bit about them. So they want to create awareness and resources over specific populations. And one of the populations that is really close to them is our military connected students and families. So before they got going down the rabbit hole of all these things they should do, all these resources they should create, how they can connect people, we want to kind of gauge awareness around these things, right? Do you know anything about military connected families? Do you know what your school is doing for them? Do you know what your district is doing for them? And a part of that is here when we talk about the Florida Purple Star District, and then a Florida Purple Star School of Distinction. So just wanting to see, there's no right or wrong answers, right? So it's not, you'll get in trouble if you have no idea what this is. This is just us gauging awareness over, you all the folks who work with the families, who work directly with the students, and thinking, hey, like you all would know if these people were a population at your school. And if you don't, that's okay. It's not a bad thing. That just helps us lead the project to maybe we need to focus more on awareness around this group opposed to like getting resources. So that is the purpose of that. So I'll give you a few minutes to answer that. I see more people are doing that. We have about 50 folks on this call, 32 of you have answered, so we'll give you a few more minutes to do that. And then I'll also shout out some of our schools who are actually, 3 of our community partnership schools are actually Purple Star Schools of Distinction. That would be Bellevue Middle School, Rutherford High School, and Pine Forest. So if you are attending one of those schools, shout out to you all. But also maybe this is an opportunity to engage with someone at your school and say, hey, I heard that we were a Purple Star School of Distinction. What's that about? So there is an application that schools and districts have to go through that provide resources and events dedicated solely to military connected families. So shout out to your districts and your schools for being able to provide that service to folks. And if you do know of families and resources that are available, feel free to shoot them our way as far as the resources and families connecting them to that at your schools. So this is just a little something that we are using to just gauge awareness and then for next steps of that. So thank you for participating. If you did, we have 40 total responses. That sounds good to me. It'll still be open with the QR code. If you need that, or if you want more information about that, feel free to reach out to me and say, hey, like that was pretty cool. What can we do? What are the resources? That kind of thing. And we can definitely send them your way so you can continue to support your students and your families. Awesome. So we have just been engaging. It's around October time. So school is in the swing of everything. And just wanting to know how you all have been engaging with your teachers and your staff that are at school. Integration is a huge thing that is really important to the work that's done at community partnership schools. And it starts with the teachers and the staff before we can kind of grow out and make impact into the community. So just thinking of what kind of ideas are there. Justine dropped a poll in the chat for you all to do as far as you can list what you're doing. If it asks you to register, just skip it. You don't need to register. It's completely anonymous. You don't need to sign in or make an account or anything. You should be able to push forward through it. If you're like, hey, Nyesha, that sounds like a lot for me, feel free to type into the chat or unmute yourself and let us know kind of where you guys are doing at your school to engage your teachers and your staff and really work on that integration piece. Oh, I was supposed to say, I thought I saw one there before. So we've hosted a wellness fair during teacher planning. Teacher planning is a great way to onboard new teachers, to kind of refresh folks about the services and programs that you will offer, to get them to remember, hey, we are a community partnership school. Mental health day events, program support, resource connection. Someone said they make sure that they attend the SAC meetings and introduce themselves as a FACE coordinator. They also share community school news with respect to FACE events. I think that's great, being able to communicate and get in front of as many people as possible so they know your faces, they know your name, and you really become an integrated part of the school. Regular visits to school classrooms. I know that can go either ways, but it's great to get them seeing your face and know that you are consistently there. Getting to them to know our program and knowing what we bring to students and teachers. We also give them gifts for every holiday to motivate them and keep them on top of their mental health. People love gifts, right? And teachers and the folks in schools and staffs are definitely those folks who need some appreciation for more than just a week of teacher appreciation. So shout out to you all for making them feel appreciated and thanking them for the hard work that they do. Outside of that, introducing staff and services, we provide student and families. Onboarding with a CPS 101, that is always a great way to introduce yourself and the things that are happening at the school, attending SAC meetings, making sure everything at our local school teams channel is to ensure, ensure that all staff are aware of the updates. For example, the pantry hours. I love that. Assist with Title I event, suicide awareness movie night. This is just great. Yeah, so you all are actually the experts in figuring out how to engage with your teachers and your staff at the school. I know a lot of times we talk about this idea of the community partnership school and the staff coming in and getting absorbed into the school, right? So that's like all that they're like, oh, extra adults, extra bodies, right? That's what we need at more schools, extra bodies, folks to do lunch duty, folks to handle classroom management, folks to walk kids to and from wherever they're supposed to go, but really focusing on integration and being a part of the school culture and really adding to what's going on, but also getting them to understand like, hey, like, although I'm here, I cannot just be doing lunch duty all day, right? Like I do have needs I need to fulfill. I do have a job I need to be doing, and I want to help support you, but maybe just not in that way. So these are all good signs that integration is happening and not absorption is happening. So thank you all for sharing. That'll still be up. Feel free to do that. We're going to share this out with the folks who were unable to come to the call to give them some ideas. Like I said, we have a lot of new folks that are on this call, and maybe you haven't quite figured out how to engage with your teachers and with your staff. So maybe these ideas can spark some things for you all to get going on to build those relationships. Awesome. So here's the time where we're going to go ahead and break out into our breakout rooms based on your role as a coordinator. So expanded learning folks are going to go over with Andrew. The FACE folks are going to go with me. And then the wellness coordinators are going to go over with Jody. So in a minute, you should see on your screen that's going to pop up for the breakout rooms. So you are going to direct yourself into there. If you don't quite know how to do that and you're like, Naisha, that's just too much for me, no worries, hang out. Just, make sure that you get into the right place. While you are in your rooms, you're going to use this link that is in the chat that is going to direct you to a Padlet, and that's just a space for you all to write down the answers to these 2 questions that are on the screen. The answers are on that as well, just to help facilitate the conversation. Again, the hope is that we would take all your ideas and things you have going on and share them out with folks who couldn't make it, or serve as a reminder to you if you're thinking, oh, like, that's a cool thing that's happening over there. I can't remember what they said. This is a place for that. So you're going to be answering 2 questions. So what advice can you give to a new coordinator coming into the role? And then how are you collaborating across the pillars to elevate the work that you're doing in your schools? If you have anything else outside of those 2 questions to add, feel free to throw that in there. We welcome all discussion. If you get lost, that's okay. When we go into the breakout rooms, we will go ahead and explain everything as well. So any questions before we go about what we're doing right now? You all for engaging and being willing to share tips and tricks with your peers. So like I said, we don't want this to be the only time that you all get a chance and opportunity to connect with each other. That is why we extend the power hour. It's definitely optional. I know that sometimes we all have a lot of things to do at the school, but if you have time to stay on and connect with folks, I think that's great. You don't have to stay for a whole hour. You're not obligated to do anything. So feel free to take that time and do it what you need to do to connect with each other. I know sometimes I always tell our directors, hey, like, you don't need the center to call a meeting for you all to meet with each other. The same thing with you all, but I know it's definitely easier if we're already gathered. So feel free to stay on to connect. And then just seeing if you'll throw up there, I submitted and activated the survey. So if you will throw that up there, if you're sharing and I just don't know you're sharing, that it's okay too.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm doing it now.
Okay. So while she is getting that up there for you all, so we operate, I know it sounds silly to do a survey all the time, but the way that we work is in the word of education, we need to have data to make these data-driven decisions for you all, right? That's a buzzword that is out there. So if you all could do me a huge favor and fill out this survey, there's a QR code that's going to be on the screen. You can just go to the next slide. Use that to fill out the survey. Again, it's through Poll Everywhere. If it asks you to register, just go ahead and skip it. There's no need to do that. And it's going to be in the chat too. So this is going to be open. So feel free to do this later on today. We'll send it out in the circle back with you all, but it's really important that we hear your feedback. And one of the questions in there is about the Director and Coordinator Institute. We really want to make that a space where you get what you need from it. But we can only imagine what that is, right? But if you tell us directly what it is that you're looking for, the kind of topics you'd like us to cover, we can try our best to make sure that you get the most out of this time with us. We feel like you all are the experts, right? You're the best ones to know. You're in the work every day. You're the ones to know what you need and what you need more of. So feel free to go ahead and do that. And also, if you are willing to participate and present to everyone, we're definitely open that up. If you're like, hey, I have this amazing program that's happened at our school, I think it could work anywhere. Feel free to reach out to us and say, hey, I think I want to present on this. I think that as much as we value getting folks to come in and provide you with expertise, that you all again are the experts. You're the ones who know this work in and out and are the best folks to talk to your peers and to each other about the things that are happening. So I'll open that up to you all as well. If you feel like you want to present, we'll give you the time and space and opportunity to do so. But if you're like, hey, I could really use more help in figuring out this, feel free to throw that into the survey as well. Our emails are up there. So if you have any questions, I know that we always are speaking with the directors, but we are a point of contact for you all as well. So if you have any questions or anything, feel free to reach out to us, to meet with us. We want to help. We want to brainstorm. We want to celebrate all the wins that you all have. We are here equally to support you all. So I'm looking at my time and I got 10 on the dot. So I feel good about that. Any last questions for us before we turn it over to whoever is going to volunteer as Tribune to stay on and host the Power Hour. I don't see any hands going up. I don't see anyone coming off mute. So I assume I have answered every single question that could possibly come to your mind. So now for our biggest question to you all, who is willing to be the host for this time frame?
I can stay on.
Awesome, Sheila. Thank you so much
You're welcome.
for volunteering to do that. Justine, if you'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll stop the recording.